Welcome everyone to episode 10 of Curious Success. Today's topic is focused on contemporary hip hop culture, where we're going to be discussing what the hell is going on out here. With that,
Yep.
I'm the key contributor, Rasheem Palmer, with my colleague and partner.
Simba Hughes.
And we're just going to jump right into it. The first question is, how would you describe today's current hip hop scene?
So, that's a good question, man. You know what? Like, people always talk about the golden era. Like, it's that was the 90s, early 2000s, you know, maybe even the 80s, as far as like hip hop, Rakim and those guys. But like, I think we're in a great space. The only reason why I think folks maybe look at it a different way is because of the internet. Like, back in the day, remember you had to get like CDs and you had to go mixtapes on the corner on the block to listen to music. I'm like, if like 50 Cent, when 50 Cent came out, right? So I was back home in the Caribbean.
Back in your day, brother.
Oh,
I remember tapes.
yeah, I don't remember it. That was like maybe a 1-2 year, but like to get access to music was really difficult, right? And because of that, you only knew of the good ones, right? From the DJs, all from, you know, for the New York Hot 97 or Ed Lover on Power 105 at that time. Like, you'd only hear it. I remember I used to tune into the radio to listen to what's happening, because the only way for me to get access to music other than like to listen to what's hot. I think now you have the internet. Music comes out like every day. Like, Future released his second album. And he released the first one a week ago. Like, within 2 weeks, he got 2 albums, entirely new bodies of work, entirely different sounds. So I think we're in a great space overall. The fact that we got guys like J. Cole, we got guys like Wale, we got guys like Big Sean, we got guys like Hove still putting some new verses with the DJ Khaled.
You want to mention
shining.
Kendrick?
We got Kendrick. My bad. We got Drake. Right. You know, you could talk about the ghost routing claims and all that, but as far as an artist, he's definitely the biggest one out. So I think overall we're in a great space. I do think, though, because of the internet age, we got access to a lot of garbage now, and that's why some folks definitely waiting for you to hear what you got to say, Rasheem. And we got a producer. We gonna let our producer chime in.
Pleasure to meet everybody. My name is Boris.
Welcome, Boris, to Curious Success Platform.
Appreciate it.
I would say that, yes, we definitely have a broader reach in terms of the music and the sound getting around to a broader audience, which is awesome. I think that's really, I'm glad we got to this point where we can actually be able to reach more people in terms of the music that's out there, and that's being created by, you know, some people, you know, depending on whatever backgrounds they come from. Most people come from very humble backgrounds.
Yeah.
And being able to have that opportunity to bring that sound and the conversations they have, and like just on their blocks or their small neighborhoods or whatever, to like a broader audience of people. They're like, yo, what they talking about over there? Kool-Aid. And it just be something, you know, they putting some spin on Kool-Aid, and you know, whatever's happening with that. I do feel that we've gotten to a place where there's too many individuals that are using hip hop just to make money.
But go ahead.
Can I finish?
Go
Let me
ahead.
finish.
All right.
Don't Kanye me yet.
All right.
But it's just one of those things where I feel like you have a lot of artists that don't really respect the craft, and they don't put time and effort into constructing a whole song. And that's with the beat and with the lyrics and whatever other features that might even need. Ad-libs are important.
Absolutely, because it's part of the music. Yeah.
So it's just you know, choruses and things like that. Like, some guys is like, oh, how they construct a song is, let me get an R&B singer, somebody on this.
Yeah.
Ty Dolla $ign's making a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, let me get this guy on my hook, and then I'm good, because I don't need to, you know, I just want to write my 4 or 5 bars, and everything else would be some gibberish.
Yeah.
And then we good.
Yeah.
You know, but
So okay, hold on. So let me ask you. So overall, though, how you feel about the current hip hop scene? Like, is it good to you? Is it average? Is it medium? Like, how would you grade it? A, B, C, D?
I still enjoy the scene. Like, of course, there's definitely artists like you mentioned,
Yeah.
that are still having a positive impact on the game. And then, of course, you can see Hove, who's damn near 60, can still drop a fire verse like Shine, that verse on
I
Shine,
told you about
and you
that.
still like you zone out on him because he just sounds so good, and I feel like his flow is timeless, like
Impeccable. Yeah, I agree with
know,
you. I agree with you.
And like I love what Nas was doing with last year, and he came out that song with DJ Khaled, and like
Oh, from DJ Khaled's album,
that was like
the Major Key album, I think,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's Major Key.
Oh,
Yeah.
but go ahead. I just, you know what? I'm gonna count to Kanye you on that, cause like, so one with the song structure, like I agree with you that folks with when you get an R&B singer, like they do that a lot, certain rappers, right? Because you just to get a melody and get a harmony, right, and get so make it catchy and make it sing along for a lot of non-casual fans. But I mean, that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
Like Akon used to be that. T-Pain used to be that. Nate Dogg used to be that. Rest in peace. Ty Dolla $ign is one of the new guys now.
But even he started like that with Tooted and Booted.
Who?
Ty Dolla $ign, like he started with the catchy melodies.
Yeah.
'Cause he did Tooted and Booted with YG, and then
Yeah, and that went on fire. Yeah, so to me that's always been happening. Like you can like in every year, every era, you can definitely like within a given year, probably name top three or four top R&B singers that go on everybody's hook, right? Everybody's song. To the point where you mentioned like folks don't want to like they're in it for the money. Would you? You're right, but part of me is like hip hop was like used to be like a subgenre, like a subculture, where remember hip hop started in the Bronx all back in the day, and these folks, it was a voice, right? That these rappers or these guys at the time, right, and females, right, wanted to reach the masses. I think now hip hop. I think Kanye said it. Like hip hop is a new rock and roll. Like it's a whole culture. Is popular now. Like people all across the globe, all across the country, reference hip hop like culture. So you're right, but part of me is like, if you saw how much money you can get within this thing we call music and business, and you knew how to rig the system, so to speak, you can argue that a lot of people in some of those positions that you mentioned, poverty and in some of those situations, hey, I'm gonna do it.
So the thing is this, right? It's not like what I'm speaking to is not really knocking the hustle, because when you think about it, like thievery is real, and thievery happens across the board.
All industries,
People can feel like the government steals from us on a day-to-day basis.
Here we go. Don't even talk about that. That's a whole nother podcast.
But it's like, realistically speaking, it's like I get that. Like I like the person is looking for a way outside of the neighborhood, a way for a better life, and if they have some talent, they're gonna utilize that to the best of their means, and that's part of it. That's their way to success. Carry success.
There we go. Plug.
However, I feel like there has to be a balance. All right? And I feel like sometimes, even if a person is saying, okay, I'm looking for this financial gain, get my mom out the hood, whatever, it's like, it's still, I feel like there's a devalue in terms of what impact they can have. So now you reach a certain status, you're capable of reaching a broader audience, you're capable of affording all these different things, but yet you're still providing substance to a broader audience that is devalued. Like it's on a lower level. You're not providing any real content. You're making the same amount of music.
Fair point.
And it's like, what about the youth that's looking at you and all you talk
looking
about,
up to you?
I want to have sex with this girl.
Money.
I got the money.
Cars. All day.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like that.
Okay.
That's what I feel like. It should be a balance from the start in terms of how they are putting their content together and music wise. So it's like if you putting that content together and you have a balance that's straight, then.
So you don't think there's a balance right now between that type of content?
There's
those
a lot
those
of
type
artists.
of rappers. Artists.
There is, because some rappers are just started from the start, like someone like a Dave East, that I feel like has a balance with their music compared to like how other artists, which we're going to get into that with question number 2 when we talk about mumble rap.
Yeah, oh boy.
But it's just like certain people that they make music where there's just really no balance. Where it's like they're pushing one, I guess, initiative or focus, and they just stand on that focus for like most of the music that they are creating.
I hear you, but don't you? So what I'm asking is not a balance within the actual song or for that actual artist, a balance in the actual hip hop.
Messaging.
All right, message. The balance in the there we go. The balance in the actual like the industry, like so the guys who sing songs with no content and just in it for the money, and the guys who actually appreciate the art and respect the art and the game and what it and what it brings to them, and the knowing that they have a responsibility because people listen to them and what they say. Don't you think like overall, like if you look at the two pillars or like on a seesaw, do you think it's a balance there, or do you think that you're hearing more of the rappers or the artists who are basically have songs with no content, and it's devaluing the youth, so to speak?
I think it's the latter. I think there's too many individuals still out there who are making music that has no content, and it doesn't have a positive impact. I don't really like hearing so many youth, because I work with youth.
Yeah.
Always talk about the trap house, or I'm going to the trap. You go in your mama crib, cut it out. Man. But it's like, realistically speaking, it's like it's so much a part of their language. When it's like that's not like you're not even there. Like you may not even encounter like an ounce or a half an ounce when it came to drugs, anything of that nature. It's like, so don't start talking about that stuff and use it as your everyday language.
Yeah.
Because then, which can lead to them devaluing themselves as well.
But wouldn't you partially blame that on like the artists that are lyrical? Because the trap house, name really didn't come into popular culture, lingo until Jeezy and all those stuff. Yeah, Jeezy and T.I. But just a alternative perspective to it. What if, because they made it sound like so good when they were talking about, when they were being lyrical and they were talking about, their struggle, and they came from that. Now kids probably wanting to be that. They're like, all right, so I have to go through, like, that's the roadmap. I have to go through the trap house first, or even make it seem like I did, in order to become T.I., in order to become Jeezy, Luda, whoever, down south artists that were big.
And I definitely get that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like, you have a lot of things that, if they were said once or twice or whatever the case, it's like, I think the concept behind it is like when you do too much of something, now it's abused. Like
Okay.
you like that,
Okay.
and I think that's
Okay.
that's what I'm trying. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like, I get it but those artists also provide other content.
Right.
They, I would say, of course, I feel like Jeezy was. I still felt he struck a balance, but he was very heavy about that.
And T.I., remember Urban Legend?
When he was pushing Snowman and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
yeah.
Because the Trap or Die campaign.
Yeah, that Trap or Die campaign was real.
Woo.
But
You talking about it, but that was good though.
it was real, man. Young Jeezy. But that was definitely real. But that's what I feel like. That's what comes into play. Is like when it gets to a point where there's no other substance. There's nothing else behind it.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you unpack their lyrics and all that or whatever it is, it's like, damn, you still saying the same
It's nothing,
thing.
yeah. And to answer your question, that's a good point, Boyd. But to answer your question, I think to agree with Rasheem. You mentioned all those artists you mentioned. They've definitely said different things now. Like, remember Jeezy, My President's Black. Like, he had albums where he was like, I'm past the Jeezy now. Right. T.I. is, wearing suits. He's writing letters to the White House. Like, they all realized, what? It's bigger than me. And I can say other things that can affect change, right, and the youth, right?
Right.
And now thinking about it, you mentioned, just going from what the list you mentioned Jeezy, T.I., Ludacris. I think you mentioned one more.
You mentioned Ludacris.
No,
he mentioned Luda. He mentioned
Luda too?
Yeah.
But
if you look at it,
but Luda is like more of a party hip hop artist.
True, he didn't. True, but he did. True, but I think you. I
He's
guess
definitely an underrated lyricist.
Yeah,
though.
you're looking at the whole Atlanta rap scene. I think.
Because I was thinking from like Southern Hospitality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
drop bows on him type days. Okay.
Right.
But what I think is
Well, you can't speak Atlanta without speaking Outkast, though. I'm just saying.
Okay, there we
But,
go. There we go. Bring him in too.
But even when they were talking, and to them it wasn't a trap house. It was like they were in the dungeon. Granted, that
Dungeon
was the name,
Family,
the Dungeon Family. That was the name of their thing. But to outsiders, we just heard like, "Oh, you in the dungeon? We in the dungeon too." So,
But to Rasheem's point, you look at all those artists, at least the ones you named, they had more than meets the eye. Like you took the curtain away, and you realize, you know what?
Right.
They're not just these guys. Actually have talent.
agreed.
Right? They actually have more than what meets the eye. I think to Rasheem's point, a lot of these artists now, you take that, you pull, you take the curtain away, right? You pull the seat out of their lap, so to speak, and they're like, is that all you got? That you're one trick pony? You
Agreed.
don't have any other,
Agreed.
lyrical ability or talent or other content. So, valid point, man. Yeah.
Second question, let's jump into that. Is mumble rap on the rise? And by mumble rap, of course, we have, which I never listen to this guy's music, so I don't even really know, but I'll say your little Yachty. The designer. You know
Panda?
what's so funny?
Panda?
Because, of course, Panda. But Young Thug. So when that Lifestyle song came out, which I felt like melodically it was appealing to my ears.
To everyone's ears. That's why it was so
I
big.
could not understand what that man was saying.
You and the rest of
now-
America.
yeah,
I
so
still
now
don't
we
know what
know.
he said.
And I was like, the living, the living, living, the live. I'm like, what?
But you singing along though.
Yeah,
you
but
singing
I did
along
not
though.
know what he was saying.
The rest of America didn't know what he was saying. Future is in that.
And yeah.
Uzi Vert is in that. X I think I don't even know how you pronounce his name, but a new guy called Extension, who they say Drake ripped off his flow from Drake's. They're playing snippets of Drake's new, I guess, playlist. He's calling it called More Life, and there's a new artist, Extension or Triple X Tension or however you pronounce it. And
Who is this guy? Why are you even bringing him up?
because he mumble rap.
I'm joking.
But it is on the rise. But I'll say this because I know how you feel about this, and you're gonna let the listeners know of who you listen to, and who you don't listen to, aka Future. But you check. You know what's interesting? You called it. Young Thug, Lifestyle, the Birdman, Rich Gang, Rich Homie Quan, right? All those guys came out with that. Were in that video for that song. Couldn't understand a word he was saying. That song was super huge. No one knew what he was saying. Even in the late night TV show, Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel, they had game shows of like, hey, can you guess what Young Thug is saying? Because no one knew what he was saying. But the melody for that song, the harmony, the stickiness factor. Immediately when you heard it, you were like, you were dancing to it. That's exactly what I'm not going to lie, that's exactly, Migos, I'm going to bring them in. Bad and Bougie, one of the hottest songs right now.
Do you consider that mumble rap though? I understand them.
I think so. With this album, Culture, right? You can understand them, but they definitely changed the style of rap and the sound of how you enunciate and how you pronounce different words. Back to the Versace, back to the Dab, all them songs they came out as soon as and they don't get a lot of respect they deserve because a lot of people took their flow and ran with it. But overall, forget the mumble rap, it's on the rise, sure. But what's even bigger, and you can't deny this, is that from a melody perspective, how catchy the song is, a stickiness factor, everybody's singing along. And not just in the club, or not just in the strip club or the lounge, when you're in New York and you're chilling, you want to listen, if you're
But they may be humming or harmonizing along. Maybe
that's
not
exactly what they're
singing
doing.
along.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what they're
they
doing.
don't understand the lyrics.
No, but and that's what I'm saying. So you can argue that from a lyrical perspective, it's watered down, which we touched on in the first point. But from a melody perspective, right? Just catchy. Like if you didn't know the words and you're just listening to how it sounds, and just like from an A&R perspective, you're like, yo, this got good melody. Like,
Right.
okay, you know what? I can get some folks in suburban America and listen to it, be like, oh my wow, like I can actually vibe to that. Like, and usually the if it's not the verse, maybe the chorus you'd be able to sing along to, right? And the verse, it's so up and down. It's like a cadence to it. You can you sing along to it. I think a lot of songs. I think even Young Thug. That's why Young Thug is so big. Like you can argue, hey, can I understand what the hell he's saying? Even in all other songs. But you can't deny that it's extremely catchy.
We gotta go extremely. We have to go with the extremely, brother.
Yo, chill.
Could have used another
chill.
word.
But
Very catchy.
you can but you can't deny the impact that it's having, and that says something. As much as you may not like it, well, you can let the listeners know how you feel. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
It's kind of interesting because when I think back, and I guess in my historical knowledge of hip hop, who were probably the forefathers of this potential sound. And I actually saw in like an article where they were citing like Old Dirty Bastard. For his style and approach of music and how he was, because he's like oh, and he was like okay,
Yeah.
And I feel like he probably wanted to be an R&B singer at some point or something, because Old Dirty Bastard was kind of like that. And I know for a fact when Bone Thugs and Harmony first came out, and I loved their music, but I did not know a lot of what they were saying.
Yep.
But I know everybody loved Crossroads.
And what word is in their name? Bone Thugs and what?
Harmony.
There we go.
And but after a while, I started understanding their lyrics. It's real, and it's kind of interesting too, because when I think about certain music as well, like reggae. I love the beats. I love how they, I'm going with it. I'm doing my dances. And
do you understand everything?
Stuff. No.
Oh, there we go.
I didn't understand everything, but it's the melody, the rhythm, and it made me automatically want to start snapping my fingers or nodding my head and stuff like that. I think the thing is with this stage of like, I think the reason why I'm kind of I guess have a negative perspective of where it's gotten to is, I think one of the things I think about is because I work with youth as well, and I just know there's a lot of youth nowadays, or a certain amount of youth nowadays, that don't like reading.
Yeah.
They don't like opening books. They don't use their words anymore. Like their language is cut short. They want to use a lot of slang. They don't even know how to like really type out a complete sentence and text.
Right.
And I just feel like that might be spawned from that. With today's, certain hip hop artists, and this perspective could be wrong, but I feel like just it can be encouraged by that, where it's like, well, if this guy's barely using words, and he's the biggest thing now, because I feel like even with Bone Thugs and Harmony and Old Dirty Bastard, they did not have the level of exposure as these current hip hop artists have now. Like, they have so much exposure to the world, and it's like everybody's saying this, but it's like, and you're like, what is he saying? But the beat, you go into the beat, but then it's like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
So I'm going to ask, so what about if it's just like everything else, it's change? Like, you go through the 80s or, 90s, early 2000s and 2010s, and obviously, where we are now, and you listen to all the different, you go on YouTube and just listen to like a seamless stream of music from the 80s onwards till now. It's just different styles, different ways rappers use their bars. I was watching something on YouTube from Vox, and these guys were like literally dissecting how rappers use their bars, right? How their rhymes, how intricate, how complex they are. And you look at what from the 80s all the way till now, and it's like things change, right? If you don't like change, you're like irrelevancy, right? So you got to move with the times. And I agree with you. There's a lot of things that, so I know of your Lil Yachty, obviously, but I know him not for his music, for his antics. I've never listened to a Lil Yachty song. The only song I know, and that's not even his song, that's Drum, is called Broccoli. It's Drum featuring Lil Yachty.
Right.
I'm sorry.
The guy, so it's a guy named Drum, or DRAM, however you,
he's actually artistic though.
He's really good.
He's really good.
And he's the guy, so remember, Drake, Hotline Bling? Drum released a song called Cha Cha. That's literally Hotline Bling. Drake did a ripoff of that song, right? And he used the excuse of, in reggae in Jamaica, one guy has a rhythm and you use the same rhythm, and that was a cop out. Like, he ripped the guy's song, the entire melody, switched up a little bit, didn't pay him. I don't think he was paid.
No.
And then Hotline Bling was one of the biggest songs out.
Pause 1 second there. Or may I interject? Did Hotline Bling deserve a Grammy after you just said what you just said?
What, the past Grammy?
That it just got?
It was nominated?
Yes.
What did it win?
It beat out All the Way Up.
For what? What was
I
it?
think it was best song. Yeah, best
rap
rap
song.
song. It beat out All the Way Up.
And I listened to, so no, only because of only on the technicality of rap song. If it was, what I think they should start doing, and Drake alluded to it, like he had an interview that he recently had, which he never does. But he had like a podcast, right? Curious Success podcast. He had a podcast that he was recording. He was being interviewed by some DJ, and he said, if you listen to Hotline Bling, I wouldn't consider that a rap song. I would consider that a pop song. Like Hotline Bling, I think the only reason they put that in that category is because quote unquote Drake is a rapper, so they put Hotline Bling in the best rap song category. To me, that's not rap. He's a rapper, or you consider him an artist that is evolving and is trying out different ways to make music and different sounds. That song was a pop song. If that wasn't Drake and Adele or Ariana Grande or Justin Bieber sang that, that'd have been pop. It would have never been in rap. Same exact thing. Same exact cadence. It's just, you literally just Justin Bieber do the song. Just sing it along, just like how Drake did. It would have been a pop song. It would have been an R&B song or something. It would have never been in rap. So I think to that point, that's why I think they don't know which category to put him in. So I think it was incorrectly placed in a category. And to answer your question directly, all the way up should have won that. Because going by the name of the category, it's rap song. Hotline Bling to me is not a rap song, even if you want to say Drake is a rapper, right? That's to answer that question. So they
because I think he sang most of the verses, if I remember. Yeah,
he sang everything.
Yeah, he sang
everything
the whole
is
song.
The same thing, to me, Hotline Bling is like an extension of One Dance.
Yeah.
In the sense, I would not say that's a rap song. That's a pop song. If Justin Bieber sang One Dance, just like Drake sang One Dance, it would not be a rap song. It would not even. I'm shocked that One Dance didn't even win Song of the Year, or
surprisingly,
or wasn't even a category if it wasn't. My bad if it was. But as far as One Dance, if you look at all the streams, that beat out Hello by Adele.
I think he has the most streamed song
ever by an artist ever, male and female, ever.
A billion, I think.
Ever, right? On Spotify, probably on Apple Music and Tidal as well. So if you talk about, record of the year and song of the year, pop One Dance, Hotline Bling, pop records by, I guess, a quote unquote rapper, right? He's involving, to me, just an artist, right? But going back to our point with mumble rap, hubba I think that you got to go with the times, man. I get you, and there's a lot of artists that I don't listen to because I'm like, going back to your point, there's no substance behind it. Maybe these guys aren't talented, but there are some mumble rap or mumble rappers, when you hear them in other songs or you hear them on a track with other artists, right, as far as melody and what they bring to the table, because a lot of artists, you don't know what they bring in. And music is a collaborative experience, but a lot of artists, you may think, oh, yeah, they mumble and whatnot, but in the studio, they're probably guys who are like, nah, change that hook, man, you do this. Change the melody, no, it should be like this. And so when they're going for their verse, you can't understand what the hell they're saying, but they probably created the framework for that actual song. So they actually have talent, right? I think Future has talent.
So you're saying he's an orchestrator?
Who, Young Thug or Future?
You're saying Future has talent.
I think Future has talent because Future was back in the day from, yes, I think Future used to be with Dungeon Family, with Outkast.
Not that early.
But he used to. Yeah. He's a part of Dungeon Family.
It was associated.
And I don't think Tree Stacks and Big Boy gonna take him in if he ain't got talent to back it up.
Yeah, the thing is, he's a great songwriter.
Yes, he makes great songs.
He's a great songwriter, makes great songs, and he knows melodies. The only thing is, I think, coming from like us being, New Yorkers and all, a lot of, you could talk to someone from down south, you won't understand. Just talking to them, you won't understand anything they're saying. So I think their rap music is for like the down south fans mostly, but we just like it because of the sound. So therefore, like, we just write it off as mumble rap because we don't get it. So all right, the hell with them. But like, if you really go down south, like, they understand perfectly what he's saying, or most of those rappers. Some of them they really don't. Like, for us, we have Fetty Wap, who grew up in Jersey. I can't understand Jack.
Great point about Fetty.
I can't.
He had some of the biggest songs of 2016. Trap Queen, not to bring back trap houses, but he had one of the biggest songs, and people thought he was a one-hit wonder. I think he had Trap Queen, he had RGF, My Way. Drake came on that. Like, he had a string of songs that you were like, I understand what you're saying all the time, bro. And you from New Jersey, you sound like you from Atlanta, but boy, oh boy, you got some hits.
Right. So I just think maybe it's just not, like, it's one of those things that's not for us. Like, I remember I was talking to somebody, and we brought it back to like when Jay-Z was battling Nas, and he was dissing him, and he said one line about just because you wear kufi pretty much doesn't make you deep, but just because you saying words we don't understand doesn't make you smart neither. Like, we just don't understand what you're saying, so that doesn't make him smart just because he's wearing a kufi and saying it. Same thing, it doesn't make it dumb just because we don't understand what they're saying. We just don't get it because it's not for us. So.
That's a good point. Out here, man.
Yo, Boris, no,
more special guests.
Yo, Boris, you're done. The producer, we cutting them off, guys.
That's making too many good points. But that is a good point where you bring up like someone like Fetty Wap, Drake, and you consider like what Drake was doing with Hotline Bling and One Dance as pop.
Yes.
But it has hip hop beats or some level of like,
sure, yeah.
Right? So that goes to the third question is like, did R&B merge into hip hop?
Yes. Yeah. It was evert, yes. And to answer your point with that, it has a layering of hip hop, but I'm gonna counter you. Didn't and layering hip hop, reggae, dancehall, soca, right? Big up Trini's, all of that laced into it, right? But it's a pop record, in my opinion, right? It's just a different. As a musician, at least in my opinion, you should listen to just like that's why I respect Kanye a lot, at least musically. He is always fascinated and is always looking at the next sound and how to bring different music together into one cohesive piece to make a record. So with the One Dance, for example, that's a whole bunch of different music. Framework definitely got a hip hop vibe to it, but I still think it's a pop record. But let me ask you this: don't you think Justin Bieber had a song called "What Do You Mean," and he had a song called "Sorry"? It was recognized as pop records or R&B maybe even, but you and I know that hip hop and soca, reggae infused that were laced in that as well. So but they don't consider it rap, they don't consider it hip hop. They consider Justin Bieber's song as pop. And if anybody with an ear to music would be like, the first time I heard that, they were like, whoever's behind Justin Bieber for that Journals album did a heck of a great job. Because if you listen to that whole album, production-wise, sonically, everything's on point. But those two records, you could be like, oh, that got some hip hop into it, but they consider it pop.
This may be a reach, right? But as I'm thinking, because I'm hearing this song, "What Do You Mean" in my head, and I don't consider it R&B.
What do you consider?
I feel like the sound can possibly be a little bit more freestyle. Where it can come across as a freestyle song, like, damn, I'm dating myself. But there's a song that I forgot who's singing, but it's like, take me in your arms, and it was like, whatever. I don't know, it's from the 80s or whatever,
not
90s
bad,
or whatever. But regardless, I felt like it's like, what do you mean? And you hear the rhythm, and it doesn't really sound like it could be R&B. You know what I mean? Or like, or put in another category to either possibly pop or maybe like a freestyle song. That's the vibe I get from it. I don't see it like in that other realm.
But so it's probably they consider it pop because it's definitely like on top 40 or pop hits.
Mm-hmm. But "Sorry" it has that difference.
Most definitely. But definitely R&B merged with hip hop. Like you look at, like I remember, like growing up and my sisters, like at least my older sister, all the R&B joints, the Ushers, the NSYNC, well, they weren't R&B, but the new edition. Shout out to them with the BAT series, New Edition, Boyz II Men, the early, I guess the MJs, Temptations. Like you just listen to that. R. Kelly, or back in the day, I don't really rock with him now, but where is that? Like the folks that are putting R&B music out, or the folks that you would think are the top R&B guys in the game, have merged their sound, have merged their albums, and their teams, and said, hey, we're going to merge this thing that we used to call R&B, rhythm and blues, right? That's what it stands for, and lace it with hip-hop beats, and our R&B singers are going to be rapping now, and it's all going to be intertwined, and we're not going to know what R&B is anymore. Like, even Usher has dibbled and dabbled, and you're like, dude, you had Confessions. Like, like as a dude, like I listened to Confessions. I was like, yo, this is a great album. You listen to his albums now, that is bad, but it's like,
Wait, the Confessions have You Don't Have to Call on it? Which album had You Don't Have to Call?
Confessions.
I think it was Confessions,
Confessions. I'll double check right
right? That
now.
had all the gangsters saying
Yo,
You Don't Have to
what?
Call.
That
I
caught
want
up.
to say You Don't Have to Call was the album right before that. Actually, no, it may be.
It may be,
It may
man.
be.
Because
I'm thinking about the
he had like
video.
5 joints. He had like joints after joints on there.
Because I'm
Wait,
thinking about the
no.
video.
Was it U-Turn?
What the name of the album?
Was one of his albums named U-Turn or something like that?
Nah, 807.
Oh, it was
8701.
Right.
8701. I think You Don't Have to Call was on that one, I think.
Let me double check this right now. Hold on, guys.
But
Go
point, I feel like I don't know when R&B died. And or it lost its place.
8701. Yeah.
8701.
Yeah, R&B I felt like had lost its place. So it was like either we go to the left, which would probably be pop, or we go to the right, which would be hip hop or whatever the case. And it was just like they just started fusing in with everything else. And, it got to a point where it's like, then it's like you have all these new R&B artists that are coming out, and they're respected for doing collaboration music, getting on hooks and stuff like that, and actually not their own albums, not their own work.
Their own content, their own,
And then it's like they're writing music, they're doing a bunch of other things other than actually putting albums out, and because there's so many of them like that. I feel like that are now in that realm.
Yeah, but it's like you know what, and I think I don't know where you're right. I don't know where it happened, but for some reason people stopped checking for traditional R&B music. Is right we were talking about like the Ushers and like the baby making music type kind of thing. Like for some reason that fell off.
Donnell Jones,
yeah,
Joe,
Tyrese,
Casey and JoJo.
I would say Akon started it.
Started what?
The transition. From my earliest memory with Locked Up, because when Locked Up came, that was not, you were singing, but that wasn't any R&B record.
Yeah, you're right.
That was like a gangsta R&B in that case.
Yeah.
And then from there, he transitioned, went to that song with Eminem. What was it? Smack That.
Yeah, Smack That.
And then Smack That, still not R&B. He's singing, but it's like that. Even that was kind of like what, popish.
That's pop.
territory?
Yeah, absolutely. That's pop. That's absolutely pop.
And then from there, that's when we just transitioned straight into the snap music, and like T-Pain took over, but T-Pain still kept it somewhat R&B. Like R&B-ish, because with Buy You a Drink and Bartender, it's like a weird.
That's not traditional.
It's like a
It
weird.
is, but it's on the outskirts. It's like I'm not
area.
crossing that line. My one foot is over the line, and I'm like, eh.
One thing I'm gonna say just real quick about this is that Akon can't really sing. Like I feel like he's like a harmonizer, and I can see him as like maybe a background singer. But like in terms of like being able to sing, you would have to look at someone like a Usher.
Right.
Like when it comes to like R&B music, these were crooners. These were people like singing a woman's panties off or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
they could you could tell them like sing right now.
that's what they
No
display,
album, and they can sing.
Like when I look at Akon, he made good music, but I didn't really consider that to be like he was an R&B singer.
Right.
I felt like Akon could have been a little bit more hip hop esque, and then it was like he transitioned over to pop. T-Pain was like, I think and the fact is, I believe he can actually sing, but he went the auto tune was the end sound. So it's like, let me ride the wave on this auto tune, and I feel like he still makes good. He made a lot of good music. I love "Can You Believe It," "Buy Me a Drink,"
Fire.
Dope
tracks.
It was another one that they was playing in the strip clubs. Sorry, but what's that one they was playing that he had with Ludacris?
Chopped and Screwed.
Chopped and Screwed. But it was like he had a bunch of good music. It was with the auto tune, but it was like traditionally he was not displaying an R&B singer.
Yeah, but
type of
maybe it's a dying genre traditionally, right? Even there's some folks who still bring it out. Like I think Miguel got some joint. Like he has some R&B. His latest, I can't remember the name of his most recent album. Maxwell. Like you got a lot of guys like soul R&B.
Kid.
Yeah, like still doing it traditionally, and they're not hugely like really super successful like a Drake but they have their core base of fans. and they, they're gonna buy their music, and they can have tours and merchandise as a result of that. Last point, just on this really quickly from me, is like going back, like maybe it's a change, because like Bryson Tiller. Don't play with it, don't leave. You can't tell me that they're joining fire. Like, and it's not traditional, but it's whew. August Alsina. I don't know what he's doing last couple of times, but when he came out with the song with Trinidad James, I love this.
I love it. Yeah.
That joint was fire. Was that traditional? No, not in my opinion. But so maybe maybe some of it is a change for the better, where you can actually listen to be like, you know what, this is actually really still good music, quality content. And what they're saying, is super good. Trey Songz, right? Trey Songz got a new album coming out. He's still, while he's mixing it up, you could argue he's still R&B, right? Or he's still like a new age R&B, right? And he's still hot as far as
old Trey was definitely R&B.
Absolutely.
Yeah, old Trey was definitely.
Yeah, I don't want to leave.
Yeah,
I gotta
man.
go right now.
Classic.
All right. Has the trend of rappers wearing skirts or shirt skirts over? Because this is the skirt
Yeah,
or skirts.
man.
Is it over?
Yeah.
Are we out of that phase?
No.
I don't think we're out, but I think it's on its last legs. Only because, just like fashion, this is just like a fad. It literally exactly, it is a trend, and it's gonna be out the door soon, because the same way how it started, and I can't remember who started it, but I know one of the biggest guys, and not just from music level, but fashion-wise, Kanye, on Watch the Throne tour with Jay-Z, was wearing a skirt or a kilt, as he called it, right? And I think if he wasn't the first, he definitely was one of the guys who was like, yo, I'm going to do it. I don't care what you guys think or say. We the throne. We rocking out. This is Kanye West. This is Jay-Z. Who does it better? And I remember after that, all the Atlanta dudes started doing it. I remember Future had a song with Birdman and Young Thug. He's wearing one of them skirts. Young Thug, like one of the weirdest rappers as far as that goes, wearing a whole bunch of skirts and whatever, and dresses and all this type of stuff, right? If that's his thing, do you? But if you're really gay, just come out. Like, don't be trying to sell people.
Like, just those subtle
yeah,
signs.
subtle sign. If you gay, come out. Okay, cool, do it, but don't act like if that's something cool to do, right? Or you're doing that to generate sales and be a talking point. But I think it's on its last legs, only because the fashion shows and the main rappers doing it, just like everything else. The baggy jeans, the tight clothes, the Gucci, like, is a trend, and maybe we got a year or two left, and then something new is gonna come up again.
I don't have any comment on that, Boris.
I kind of agree, but at the same time, I don't. I feel like it's like we're at the middle point, because now with
not good.
Because if you think about
it.
it, I'm looking at like artists like Lil Uzi Vert, who are like up and coming, and that's who all the kids are following. That's like his style. Like even like Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty's walking around with the same glasses that Lil Kim was wearing and Missy Elliott was wearing back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Like, and these are the new guys that all the kids are looking at. So I'm like, and most of the time, one thing that Kanye said that I really agree with is we have to look at the kids. Like, listen to what the kids are saying.
Absolutely.
Because they are the ones creating the trend. And if that's who they're looking up to, that means the trend is kind of like right in the middle and reaching its high point, where that's about to be the new standard. Until few years later, when someone else is gonna come and say, "Nah, I ain't with that."
Yeah,
and
this
that's
is
the cool
it.
fact.
The hottest guy.
Right.
This is it.
And then that's when we like, all right, we're gonna follow what he's wearing. But right now, I feel like we're on like the upward.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Damn, Boris.
It's kind of interesting too, because Drake doesn't do that, and he's the hottest guy.
Yeah.
But you can argue Drake is the biggest artist right now, but, and this is maybe I don't want to derail it, but you can argue, do people actually want to like be like Drake?
Exactly.
Or dress like Drake? Fashion-wise, ain't nobody trying to dress like Drake.
Has no fashion.
Yeah, nobody care about.
Has an
like,
OVO flight jacket, sweats.
Yeah,
He's cool.
Nobody like wants to be like. You remember back in the day when Jay and Rockefeller, you were like, yo, I remember I used to be like, Dad, I'm gonna tell you, where's the Rockaway?
Mm-hmm.
Like, diplomats, like you wanted to be like them, like them. The Cameron. Remember when Cameron used to wear pink? I'm back home in Trinidad and Tobago. All the gangsters, all the tough dudes wearing pink going to parties. And they're like, yo, what? Say something. We from Cameron.
Yeah.
Nobody does that with Drake. Nobody who ain't no OVO sweaters and OVO other than like his diehard fans. So that's why I think that
Like,
Drake comparison.
fashion-wise, we're looking at, you know, the Lil Uzis, the A$AP Rockies, you know, Kanye, things like that, and they're all embracing it. They're like, oh, this is the European fashion, and this is like, as long as it's a Givenchy skirt, you can't say nothing to me.
Because it's Givenchy, it's called 5 racks.
You can't say nothing to me. So, or this is like, you know, some designer who you don't even know the name of.
Fair God, or like, you know, the sneakers, or like,
right.
you know.
So therefore, I'm like, so if you think it's a skirt, nah, man, this is about to be the new wave, and we're like,
you're just not onto it yet. Yeah.
And now, so you put that image, and you kind of like trick me into thinking that. Now I'm like, all right, maybe I might want a skirt.
You know, one thing, and I know I said I have no comment on this, but I think one thing that I think also kind of like it promotes is the outcast of rebellion against the system as well. Mm-hmm. You know, we're going against what's traditional. Yeah. You know, I'm going to earn cool points for this.
For doing this, yeah. Look at Jaden Smith. He came out, was like, why should dudes why shouldn't we not wear female clothes?
Yeah. And now he's like the face for what?
Louis Vuitton, a
Cover
female
girl,
line or some cover. Yeah, he's doing like, so, you know.
I don't know what's going on there, but
what's next up, question. Man?
What is the number one sound of today's hip hop?
That's a tricky question, only because so my default answer would be the trap, the mumble rap. How about like whatever with the Metro Boomin'? If your Metro don't trust, like, you know, Jumpman, Bad and Bougie, Metro Boomin', like the biggest song, Metro Boomin'.
Or the Down South.
Down South, right?
Down South flow sound.
But then you know what I look at, and this is probably just a lot of things in general. Whatever's the biggest thing out, and everyone like everyone just looks at it like, we got to do that. So like Drake's album Views, you can argue it wasn't all that, you know, as far as whole body of work, but it had some of the biggest songs. Right? One Dance. When that song came out, how you find that now a lot of artists are now infusing that reggae, hip hop, soca, dance hall in their songs. Omarion got a new song, Distance, reggae hip hop. Tiger, it dope, but I like that song. You know where it's influenced from. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tiger had a song.
101.
101.
At least, you know, Omarion's actually in Africa. He's in the motherland.
No, but Tiger was in Jamaica. Tiger was in Jamaica. He went down to Jamaica to shoot a video.
No, I didn't see that
there
one.
you go.
Yeah.
I would say that, like, the new wave is probably like the harmony raps where it has to have like you have to have some, like, even if it's like 4 to 6 bars where you're kind of like singing or giving like a good melody for people to like kind of hum or whatever to like
and sing along to, right?
Right, because going from Drake, J. Cole, any one of these new artists like Future, like there's something in there where you're kind of like you know, still being a tough dude, but you still like singing a little bit. It's almost like singing but in disguise. So I feel like that's like the new.
Yeah, like, and even so, I was on the gram and looking at Chance, you know, to do sneak peek of the song. Chance got a song, I didn't even know the name of the song, but it's with Future.
Right.
And Chance in the studio, like I'm not gonna lie, I'll pay it for you after. It's the lyrics, because he's a good artist. The lyrics are dope, but it's like you listen to it one time and you didn't even know the words because you didn't catch it on yet, but you're like, yo, that was. And you want to play that over again, so yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
and even with Chance,
I agree with that now.
Yeah, Chance, he like his whole thing is rapping and singing. Drake, you know, all of them. So.
I would say, as I'm thinking about this, I feel like it's the party sound. I feel like granted, it doesn't matter what region it comes from, but it's like the promotion of partying. I feel like it's grown. Like it's on a much higher level, and then you have all these songs. Like I don't know what song can come out right nowadays, but I always hear, or I can always do the Millie Rock to it. It's like automatic. I'm doing Millie Rock. Yeah. I'm like, you know, I'm doing the Millie Rock, and I'm doing my wiggle with the shoulders and all that. And it's like, I'm like, damn. How many songs come out that sound? And I'm like, I'm Millie Rocking. I'm doing my numbers.
That means that's the same tempo. That means that's the same tempo.
You know. But I also feel like you have a lot of songs nowadays that is just like is like I really feel like the party and bullshit it's just grown. Where it's like you have a lot of artists, it's like that's what they pushing for. It's like that's why, you know, what I was telling you when I was speaking about like balance. because I feel like now it's like party, 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 party,
Where's the
party,
balance?
and then what else are you providing in terms of content or
Yeah.
substance
Yeah.
to your audience? And I feel like that is probably the biggest sound, like coming out with this party music. Everybody has to have it. You have to have one. You have to have an all the way up. You gotta have
Yeah.
something else, and like
Yeah.
in
that club
the
record.
catalog.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a significant amount of club bangers. Like, cause look at what is it, Ray? What is it?
Ray Shremmerd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me saying that 3 times. But those guys is like I feel
Party,
like
party, party.
party
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Party, party, party.
But it's like I like that.
Hey, mannequin challenge, mannequin challenge.
But you think about it, it's like that's it. And these
Yeah.
guys, how many hits do they got?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's all party music there.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's like
But people are buying it. To your
course.
point, people are buying it. People want to hear it. People want to listen to it. People want to dance to it. People want to listen to it in their cars, in the club, lounge, strip club, whatever. When you're hanging out, and as a result, what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna make more party music. Until you let me know that you don't want it.
But I think that's what kind of tarnished it. Everyone now, because Ray Shremmerd, I can't be mad at them. That was their brand of music
From the beginning.
from jump.
Yeah.
Now other artists who were looking, for actual content from when they're now chasing that club hits and whatever. Now it's like, now we just become oversaturated. Everyone's making a club hit. Like I remember when Pac started, what was he doing with Digital Underground? With the Humpty Dance?
Yeah.
Like he started, dancing for Shock G and Humpty Dance, and that clearly was just like a have fun record.
Yeah.
But then afterwards he came back and gave us Brenda's Got Baby.
Dear
So it's
Mama.
like, Dear Mama and
There we
also
go.
And all,
Changes, all the great
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
so now-
he has
Hit him up.
Yeah, although
balance,
he-
right? It was a
he
balance,
had-
right? He gave you that, and he
had
balanced,
I Get
right?
Around, but
And hit him
afterwards
up.
still came back and hit him
Right.
up. So it's like
California love.
Yeah, so the balance
Banger.
is definitely. I agree with you completely. Like
Yeah.
balance is too much geared towards
On one side.
just going to the club and having fun afterwards. No one is doing work. Everyone is just having fun at the club.
Like you be in the office and you put on one of them songs.
Yeah.
Like, you forget to type it.
Yeah.
Like,
Typing them.
like you practically at the gym 24/7, just having fun.
Pretty much.
You know. But all right. That is funny. Is New York still the #1 region of hip hop?
No.
No.
No. Yes. It's been like, no. And I would give you this answer in like 2010. No. Like, no.
Nah.
It's been off. And I think a lot of New York guys are stuck, right? Because they always, like every other interview, every now and again, maybe when a New York rapper is on some radio show, for some reason they always ask, is New York dead? All this nonsense. It's like, dude, like, I'm not sure there's any New York sound anymore because of the age we're living in. It's regionless, like it's flat, no more borders. So I don't think there's any New York. Think of a New York artist right now, and I ask any of you guys, name me a New York artist right now out of New York that has a New York sound.
Davies.
Man, hey guys, thanks for joining.
Don Q.
I'll be
Don Q is
okay.
yeah. That's
Bro, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Brooklyn.
We on our way back. Thank
No.
you, Fat Joe and Remy.
You could even then you can argue that is that New York
Well, they
because their album is.
Fat
I
Joe
listen to
is
some of their
very
records.
smart. This dude is very smart.
Absolutely.
And I think when he realized what he had with Lean Back, that man has just become like a hit factory.
Absolutely.
Like he's been able to.
He has a
construct,
great ear for music.
And it's gotten to that point. You're like, did you hear that new Rick Ross song? Oh no, she like me. Fire.
With Ty Dolla $ign?
Yeah.
Ty Dolla
Like, yo,
$ign?
Rick, yo.
Yeah. No, he has a great ear for music too. Like he makes great records.
Yeah, one of the best ears.
But I feel like there's, right, like that particular, like their album is.
It's infused. It's now. It's
universal.
old.
It
Yeah.
has a universal appeal.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I do feel like, speaking to like more like Dave East, Don Q, it's a New York sound, and it's New York sound. Like I feel like, and it's gonna still carry them over because I feel like for Dave East because I feel like Don Q is not there yet.
Yeah.
Because
Because I haven't listened to any of his records yet.
But for Dave East, I feel like he's getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
As he's starting to get more and more recognition, like I can see him like definitely being like one of those people that champion what is considered New York sound.
But if you ask me, if I answer the question, it's like you said if New York is still #1, right? No, heck no. Are they a dying breed? Probably yeah. And the new creme of the crop that's rising, that's coming through like, yo, nah, we still here. The Davies and the Don Q's, those guys are like saying, nah, we gonna bring it back. Like New York still got a sound, and not only is it lyrical and it's dope, but the new listeners, the millennials, the youth can listen to it and be like, this is dope. I don't need to listen to party music or mumble rap. I can listen to New York sounds.
You lost me. You started to lose me, but I was with you. I was with you towards that.
I came back from.
Yeah,
I
you
came
came
back.
back.
Good.
No.
No.
I can see when you
How,
lost it,
Sway?
though.
How?
I can see when you lost it. Like,
Yeah. Once you start saying like dying breed,
you
I
like
was
dying
like,
breed, like
oh,
you wildin'.
wow.
like you know, we're right now on the lifeline. We're on the lifeline right now.
You gotta think about this. You made it. You came to New York, brother. You ain't go to Atlanta. You, ain't go to you came from that boat from Trinidad and Tobago. You said, I'm putting my roots in New York, man. Cut it out. Respect your culture. But no, I think you know, and I'm sure there's more artists out there, and I'm not mentioning them. Like, what is this other guy? You know, I feel like the Locks still represent New York sound.
True.
There's another guy that I think he might be signed to Locks. He's a young guy. I forgot his name, but there's definitely other New York artists out there, and they may not be having all the recognition, but it was like Dave East was like one of the first names that came to mind, as well as Don Q. Young and May.
Okay, good one.
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel like that's New York sound.
She
you know?
just had a freestyle on the Dynasty beat. If you go like on YouTube or something, like probably like maybe like yesterday or the day before. Dope freestyle. So yeah, okay.
You know,
I stand correct. Yeah, okay.
And one thing I feel, which I really like about that, like, I'm not sure what her gender pronoun is. She might be, you know, still considering she. But I just feel like for women rap, whereas it's like, because I just don't want, you know, my selection of, you know, when I'm looking for hip hop music, I'm going to Nicki Minaj.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah.
whereas like, okay, I get it. Like the men have taken over.
Sure.
You know, when it comes to hip hop, and there's not too many women artists that either get recognition or whatever be the case, or it's just like you're not hearing from them, and
Right.
they're not making like popular music, or you know, or have the crossover appeal. Like, oh, I can hear this over here, or I can hear this over here. So, you know, the fact that she is a young lady, you know, or you know, like I said, I'm not sure if she's, you know, she agrees with that gender pronoun.
I think she still goes by she.
But if that's the case, and you know you representing that, like I feel like that's very impactful. I like to see stuff like that. So that right there is like, you know, has a significant impact on me at least. All right, let's go into this next question, which is, has hip hop furthered the promotion of negative stereotypes? You know, this could be through video images, you know, of course, the lyrics and songs.
I'm just gonna just touch on it and keep it quick. To your point, and to the word of the day, guys, balance. I think you can argue, and folks don't want to talk about it, but it's, you know, facts are facts. Keeping it honest. Like, it does promote negativity, and I don't know when it changed. If I look back, it definitely changed. Because when hip hop started, it wasn't about no negativity. It was like the voiceless. You know, the folks that are being pushed back, the oppressed, right? Fight the power. Like, we let you guys know, like, no, we want to be heard, right? We're protesting through our music, right? So you can argue, like, definitely wasn't any negativity back then. Absolutely not. I don't know when it changed, but it did. And as a result of that, there still is. However, I don't want to, you know, you never want to look at it glass half empty. You got to look at it glass half full. Balance. There's also a lot of positivity and upliftment from hip hop, right? For the actual artists and for the folks that are actually listening to the music. Because there's some people that I listen to, like, so for example, Kanye, right? You can argue that, you know, he's not, I guess, the gangster rapper, but he was one of the rappers where I was like, yo, like, I remember telling my mom and I was like, and my sisters, I was like, I want to really get into music and listen. Like, he was one of the guys who, like, growing up, I felt like, you know, I didn't, you know, wasn't any gangster or gangbang or anything like that, but I was like, he's the first guy I could relate to, right? Where I'm like, oh, you can just be yourself. and people going to accept you. He's a guy who was in the pink polo. He wasn't a gangster, right? He wasn't what was in. He was just himself, and everyone accepted him for that. And to me, while you can still say, I won't say it's furthered, but there is negativity. There's also positivity within hip hop as well. So I'm gonna keep it like that, balance.
Boris, you want to chime in on that?
Nah, I completely agree. Man. I like to the point where I also don't know when the culture shifted. 'Cause I remember when the first record was it Melly Mel on The Message, talking about broken glass everywhere, people pissing in the corners, pissing in the alleys, and we just don't care. Like talking about like you struggling, talking about that struggle, and now we embracing codeine rap. I'm like,
And lean,
like we don't. I don't know when
the drug. Now we're the consumers of drugs. That's
right.
You're promoting that.
Yeah, I don't know when the culture shifted, but I mean, I definitely do agree that it promotes, but it's also like on the consumer's end, it's like that's what they're gearing towards and gravitating towards for some reason. Who knows? But we definitely like. There's not enough messages saying like, "Yo, you could, be dope without having, to do drugs. Like, you could just be yourself. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Like, don't let nobody sway you to doing drugs." So,
I definitely agree with you both. And because I work with youth, is like it's I guess constant reminders of just what the trend is nowadays, what people are doing, what's popular or what's most popular. And with youth, I feel there's so many youth that smoke weed nowadays. So like that's the thing. It's like it's so natural. It's from the earth.
Yeah,
it's from the garden. Yeah. And it's kind of it's amusing because I always hear them saying like, "What? It's nothing wrong with that. It's of the essence or whatever." But of course, it leads to whatever else that might lead into whatever they're getting into.
The gateway drug they call it.
But then also I just feel like it's just part of a recreational mentality. It's like I think it might have started as more of a recreational thing for people.
Sure.
Then it was like, okay, well, this was my way of utilizing this to help me balance out my life. I'm stressed or whatever.
Because there are a lot of people that smoke weed who are functioning in corporate jobs, who are functioning in their lives, or highly successful people who smoke weed, right?
I was just joking the other day because I was around a group of individuals and they always talking about yoga. I said, listen, I don't need yoga to find my center or reach zen.
Find my zen.
Find my zen.
Where the sage? Light a sage in here.
As Uncle Snoop would say, all I need is a fat old blunt. Take my toots. I'm good.
I think the problem is a lot of the youth kind of became addicted to weed and don't even realize it. Like to them, because they don't have like they're not itching all the time or whatever. They feel like it's not an addiction. But I'm like, if you are asking, your non-smoking friend to piss in a cup and you about to hold that piss all day so you could pass a drug test for your job, that means you kind of like reached past you're doing stuff that's abnormal now. Like if you're risking your job, there's people who have kids and they're risking their custody rights for their kids just so they could smoke. And I'm like, if you're risking that's
not smart at all.
Yeah, like I'm like, you have to think like, how does that not fall under addiction? Like you are really like about to just just for like a dime bag of weed, like you're about to do that just and lose the rights for your kids, lose your job, lose your whatever it is you have. And I'm like, yeah, that falls into addiction. You just don't realize it. And the music doesn't help because even now it's almost to a point in music videos, people are like holding blunts, rolling up, whatever, like in rap videos and all. And I'm like, before, like it kind of like you knew they were doing it, but it was kind of like hidden.
That's true.
Yeah, now it's just
they don't care.
Yeah, now it's just like me and all 40 of my men, all 40 of my mans, all in the videos, we rolling up, sipping, and we'll let you see that as purple.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But these are all valid points. This particular topic is something that we could probably go on for a little while longer on, and we probably have to do a part 2 to this because there's definitely more questions that are out there that probably need to be brought to the audience.
We definitely want to make sure you guys hear more, and definitely the listeners in the part 2. Let us know if you want to hear something. We're gonna post on Twitter. We're gonna post on Facebook. Definitely, we're gonna reach out and let us know if you want a part 2 and what type of questions you want answered on the actual podcast.
Thanks, Boris, for being our special guest today.
Thank you. I had a great time, man. Thank you.
Drum roll.
If there's anything you want to plug, as always, anybody who becomes a part of the platform or joins in or what we're trying to do, we always give them an opportunity to plug anything if they want, if you want to. So,
anyone, if you have a podcast, make sure you come to Cat Sound Lab. Ask for Boris. I'll be glad to engineer your engineer your session. I DJ as well, so at Sly Cooliano. If you follow me on Twitter, if you need an event DJ, talk to me, and that's about it.
From a Curious Success perspective, you can check us out on twitter.com/Curious Success, as well as Facebook.com/Curious Success. Looking forward to hearing your comments. Like us, put comments, retweet, give us feedback, and let us know what topics you guys want us to talk about, and we'll definitely take a look at it.
You mentioned YouTube as well.
YouTube.com/Curious Success, guys. My bad on that one. And also check us out on Audio Mac. We also post